into communities, but also be subject specific. So for instance, these green guys up here, these are the good guys all linking together. So we want to get as many links as we can from that community. The grey guys down there, that's where Ralph is hanging out with all of the spam, and we don't want his links at all, we don't need them. So trying to get more links from inside your community, yeah? Inside the community is more important than just getting links from anywhere. How does it work in the real world? This is an example that I got from some Japanese guys who were looking into communities. They managed to come up with a really good example of how big a community can be. A lot of people say, well, I want to get links in my community, but I'm only a small player, how can I get links? If you take a look at this example, you'll see right in the center of the computer makers, we've got the computer device makers, software makers, digital camera. You can see that they're all linked together. So when you start looking for links, start looking inside your community. Also, recently I spoke to Miley Oye, who is on the spam team at Google, and we were talking about the amount, how much of the web that Google had actually crawled. Google has a fraction of the web that it plays in. It has one certain area, which is the hot area for Google to play in. And the reason that I mention that is it becomes all the more important now that when you are looking for links, that you try and get links that actually appear in the top results of Google, because this is the most important place. So doing a backlink check on why certain sites are at the top at Google is probably even more important these days than it ever has been before. So I seem to be going on forever. 9 years ago, I wrote a list of things that people should take away, that people should think about when it comes to linking. And I thought today would be a good idea if we just went back to see how many of those are still relevant and see if Ralph is still agreeing or disagreeing. This is the white hat version. One of the first things that I've talked about is quality. At the end of the day, even now, content, not content farms, content is king. So the greater the content, the more likely you are to get good links to go with it. If I want to link to your stuff, then you better be doing good stuff because my reputation goes with that. Anchor text has largely been the workhorse for search engines. We talk about all kinds of things that could go on, latent semantic indexing, blah, blah, blah. A lot of it's just fooey, to be perfectly honest. Most of the work that's done in indexing and ranking is actually done with link anchor text. So being able to get the right kind of keywords in the link anchor text is important, but I also discovered some time ago that about 100 bytes either side of the words click here, all search engines look at the text surrounding the words click here to find out what it actually means. Okay, so I've already said how many search engines have already decided that they think is important. How many pages does the web have? That was a question that was put to the official Google blog about 2 years ago. The answer from Google was, we don't know. We don't have time to look at them all. This myth that everybody has that Google knows everything on the web and they have it all in one place is just that. It is just a myth. Officially on the blog, they announced that they had cited 1 trillion URLs. And that's a lot. But it's only a fraction of the web. And they've also admitted that they'll never be able to crawl 1 trillion URLs in a timely fashion. Why? Because by the time they get to 1 trillion, we'll all be dead, or they just won't be relevant, or the link is broken, whatever. So you have to start and think about, yeah, or you spam the shit out of it, for want of a better technical term. Diluting your quality content. You know, the problem you have with a designer that says there's too much text here. If you write a great piece, a great article, and start to spread it over too many pages, then that's what happens with the links. That bit's more important to somebody else, that's important to somebody else. So probably better to try and just do one good, comprehensive, authoritative page. Affiliate programs, I don't think we need to talk about that, but it's the same as anything else. Generally speaking, anything that's out there that is like a link farm, a content farm, anything that's free to begin with is probably crap anyway. Don't fake your linkage data. Don't fake your linkage data because you will be found. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult to create all of these kind of massive networks and then arrange for incoming links to all of those spammy little sites that you have. We'll let Ralph talk more about that. Asking for a link, yeah, that used to be a big deal back in the day. Acquiring links is time consuming, so now get somebody else to do it. Even buy a bot, well, Google would probably say no to that. There's a mention of Yahoo in there. At the end of the day, I think the point that I was making here is that spending time, more creative time, thinking about links, developing great content, and then going back to somebody with a value proposition. Here's a reason why you should link to me. You know, I sell socks and you make shoes, whatever it is, and let's have some kind of a decent deal going here. At the end of the day, it's about building business. You build great business and do good marketing, you will get good links online. So that's the kind of white hat version of everything. If you read Google's guidelines, you'll see that recently, this is Matt Cutts, who's one of the spam cops on his team there, and what he's saying basically is, if everybody sticks to Google guidelines, you'll all have a #1 at some point in your life. I don't think so. What he can do, though, if you don't play by the guidelines, is this. It's my old spam, I just love that one. J.C. Penney, look at the top there, the farmer update. Anyway, I hope that that's given a little bit of an insight into the inner workings of a search engine without being too complex, giving you an understanding of why Google has to do what it has to do, because most of it can be blamed on Phantomaster. Thank you very much for your time and attention.